I just was doing laundry, and a lot of times when I'm doing chores, it gets my mind thinking about that specific chore and what would make it more efficient. But for laundry, I am working on my ideas of what an ideal scenario would be for clothing. And uh, as someone who had a um, a pretty much like a uniform. Like I grew up going to schools where I had uniforms from first to um, all through high school, and first grade through all through high school. And so um, I grew up, like hating uniforms, but now as an adult, I really appreciate the idea as long as it's something I get to create myself. I didn't realize that's what I was doing over the past, 10 years at my job. But whenever I would find a piece of clothing that I liked a lot, generally it was basics, like it was a t-shirt or like something that I could wear not only to work but also out in my life. And so basics were my go-to. And for it to be a good basic, it would have to be fitted nicely. And that's something that I learned over time that was important to me. So if I would find this thing, I usually would get it in I would get like four or five of them. Um, if it was like a t-shirt that I really liked, I would get like whites and blacks, and then in different phases of my life, like my color schemes kind of were like a little like bolder or more looking at like patterns and stuff. But anyways, right now I'm at this place where I have, um, by necessity, like a very simple amount of clothing, and I'm still like purging it out. The idea that I had is that I imagine that there are lots of people like myself who are wanting to automate parts of their lives, not so that they could not care about how they look or how they like express their creativity in their appearances or in their way of living, but so that they actually can do that in a more intentional, focused way. So for a uniform for me, it would be like I would have a like black t-shirt, my black jeans that fit me really good, and the accessories are where I would have a chance to kind of express my unique individuality and to play with, like shoes are a big thing for me, and especially after teaching in an all boys high school, like shoe that they required uniforms. Like shoes are a big way to show your individuality, and I really like tennis shoes that are like lifestyle shoes. So like white Converse, my big favorite. Like for a while, I was like on a kick of like finding shoes that looked like skate shoes. So I think the look I was going for was the Vans shoes with laces that were white, and I found those in the Nike. What's that Nike one? I don't know, but and then I also really like. I think it's the Gazelle. It's like the Samba series from Adidas. Even in elementary school, like I remember I wasn't like really able to get the like expensive brands a lot. Um, and I remember having a dream that I went into my closet and it was like maybe I was in really young grades, but I felt like in the dream I was in like eighth grade. So maybe I was in like fourth or fifth and thinking about eighth graders as like the big kids. And I went to my closet, and there on the top shelf of there's like the shelf and then there's the hanging clothes was these like pair of white platform Adidas shoes. I think that's what they were. Maybe they were Converse. And in my dream, I just had this feeling of like I have these are mine. I get to wear them. Kind of like the feeling when you get a really cute haircut and you feel like you like it and you get to get like excited to go to school the next day and everyone gets to see it. So my idea that I came up with in the laundry room was to have companies that are like specialized in making tailor-made basics for people. And the idea I have is that you would go in and they would take your measurements. You would also kind of fill out like a lifestyle like questionnaire that would tell them kind of what materials work best for you, like what kind of flexibility do you need, your like maybe your washing habits even. It's a whole process. So you go in, you fill out your questionnaire, and you also have a chance to like try on, like you can go and you can do this, you know, in like phases and stuff, where you're like, okay, what are my like short sleeved options? And short sleeve options can be t-shirts, they can be sweaters, they can be dresses that are short sleeves. And once you have the fit that's right, and the like style of clothing, then you get to start choosing like what color or patterns it would be. And there will be people to kind of help you with this. Like for me, um, I would love to have mostly solid color basics that look good with any like jewelry or accessories I put on. But I also really like a good patterned shirt that's like has a collar and like a short sleeve. But I've never found one that fits just the way I want it to. I feel like it's like a 1950s style, like what the women's shirts, blouses back then. So then you go through this process and then you have them like make this piece of clothing for you. And I feel like in this society, we would, I don't know how money would work. I don't think we need to use money anymore. I feel like that's a stupid thing. But then you could just like, whenever you run out of that, like you can go back and you can get the same one or whatever, but you have your measurements, you have your specifications, and you can always like go and decide it, like I'm in a new phase of my life and change them. But yeah, it's like you get a whole wardrobe created for you, and it doesn't have to be a ton of clothing. Like it can be really simple, intentional pieces. So if someone wants to get with me on this and pay me for my ideas, I will help you design this.